morning. I'm Reverend Kathy. Happy to welcome all of you to Unity North Spiritual Center in the state of Minnesota. So we are an inclusive community. We welcome and accept all people. So whoever you are, wherever you are on your spiritual path, you're welcome here at Unity, and we're glad you're with us today. So in case you don't know, we're part of a greater worldwide unity movement, the publishers of the Daily Word magazine. And we've been holding 131 years of prayer vigil through Silent Unity, the prayer ministry of the Unity movement. So prayer is the heart and soul of unity. We do have a prayer chaplain available to pray with you after service. That's Gretchen Hansen today. If you want to wave, Gretchen. And then our healer today is Rhonda, who does long distance healing. So she's waving. So you can feel free to call either one of them right after the service. And their phone numbers will show up in the chat. And again, you can see them during our announcements today. So thank you for serving in this way today, both of you. All right. Chris is here. Chris Italiano is our producer today. Welcome, Chris. And Gary Yangness from Santa Cruz, California is our worship assistant today. Welcome, Gary. And our musician is Will Hale. And let me just give you a little bio on Will if you haven't heard him before. He offers fun entertainment for kids and families. He performs for live concerts, music performances, festivals, community events, preschools, daycares, elementary schools, scouts, parks and recreation, concert series, churches, private parties, and pretty much everywhere there are kids or adults who express the kid within. So he's been involved with our youth and family ministry here at Unity North Spiritual Center for many years. And will perform for those of us here in the Coon Rapids, Minnesota area later today at 4 p.m. for our Unity North parking lot concert. So please give Will a warm Unity welcome that he can see as he leads us in our opening song.
Silent waves. I do that with kids. We just yell with no sound. It works perfect on Zoom. I think you might know this. Feel free to walk or stand up if you want to, or just sing along. I am walking in the light, in the light, in the light. I am walking in the light of God. In the light, 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 in the light of God. Okay, it's not a family Sunday, but it is fun. There's no age limit on fun, by the way. Did anybody tell you that? Okay. I am clapping in the light, clap. In the light, that's good. I am clapping in the light of God. In the light, 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 in the light of God. Well, I am smiling in the light. Every smile in the light, in the light. I am smiling in the light of God. Sing in the light, 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 in the light of love. Okay, here's one I haven't done before. Get ready. I am waving. Everybody wave. I am waving in the light, in the light, in the light. Keep waving. I am waving in the light of love. In the light, 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 in the light of God. Okay, one last one. I am whispering in the light, in the light, in the light. Be still, be still. I am listening in the light of God. Thank you.
Thank you, Will. All right, thank you. That's fun. I wish I could be there for the parking lot concert today. It's going to be great. So my name is Gary Gagnes. I'm the worship assistant for today. And we'd like to ask if anybody is here for the first time today. If so, wave. I don't think so. All right, very good. And I think we have Zoom pretty much figured out by now, but just that you will be stay muted. And later, if you want to speak, you'll have to click the microphone icon and unmute yourself. So we like to start in the beginning with our individual prayer requests. We invite you to speak your prayer aloud in the privacy of your home or silently to yourself. And we will allow some time for our personal prayers at this time. Loving Spirit, we are grateful for this opportunity to pray and fellowship with one another today. And we give thanks in advance for the answers to the prayers that we offer today. And so it is. Amen. And please remain still for the reading of today's daily word. Unity's daily word for today, August 29th, 2021, is awareness. The world feels new as I grow in awareness. Spending time in mindful contemplation increases my awareness of my surroundings. As I concentrate and focus my attention, I shut out distractions and I settle my unquiet mind. My world begins to feel brighter, vibrant, and more alive as I notice the soft sounds and minute textures and colors that I overlooked before. Spending time in prayer increases my awareness of God's goodness, which I share with others when I'm patient and kind, generous and forgiving. And this goodness returns to me as kindness and gentleness in the people that I meet, and ease and grace in all the places that I go. The world has not changed, but I have. My awareness of God in and as my life has opened my eyes and ears, my mind, my heart. That was a surprise. I'm sorry. And our Bible verse today is from Psalm chapter 118, verse 18. Open my eyes so that I may behold wondrous things out of your law. Now we'll do some more music for us to prepare for meditation.
Actually, I'll invite everybody, if you want to put your hand on your heart or just see if you can feel your physical heartbeat during this preparation. That would be something you might want to try. If it's hard to feel your heartbeat, take a deep breath. Just hold your breath. You'll feel your heartbeat. This is the peace greeting song. Peace be with you, and with you be peace. Peace be with you, and with you be peace. And we do it in Hebrew. Shalom Aleichem, Aleichem Shalom. That's it. Shalom Aleichem, Aleichem Shalom. In English again. Peace be with you, and with you be peace. Peace be with you, and with you be peace. In Arabic, really, we're going to do it in Arabic. Assalamu alaikum, wa alaikum assalam. Assalamu alaikum, wa alaikum assalam. One more time in English, very peacefully. Peace be with you, and with you be peace. Peace be with you, and with you be peace.
I invite you to take a moment now and relax for meditation. Let's take several deep breaths, breathing in joy and breathing out joy several times. Just say to yourself, I am completely and totally relaxed. We are now in the presence of pure joy, immersed in the spiritual essence of delight. Let us relax more deeply into a sense of childhood wonder as we imagine the laughter of children. The most beautiful angelic sound, the laughter of children. And as we experience that pure sound of delight, let us for a moment take ourselves back to a happy moment of play in our childhood. Just recapture the light-hearted feeling of fun. Imagine the feeling of play, swinging until we can touch the sky, running in total freedom, playing tag, rolling down a grassy hill, throwing rocks in a river. Whatever it was for you, just feel that joy of play. Imagine the colors, the sounds, the sensations, the emotions. The beating heart of the universe is holy joy. Joy is the pulse of God. Now you are tuned into and connected with the divine pulse. Now let us remember other moments of joy, moments of fun, moments of humor, of beauty. Just think about your life and take a few moments in the silence to ask yourself, what have been the most fun, the most blissful, the most joyful times I can remember through the years in the silence? Today, I commit to greater joy. I set an intention to have some fun each day. And I say, thank you, God, for this joyful day. This is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. Thank you, God, for the power of joy. And so it is. Amen.
This song is for my mom and all of the people who love rainbows. Raise your hand if you hate rainbows. Just kidding. I don't know anybody that doesn't like rainbows. Everybody likes rainbows. Why are there so many songs about rainbows? And what's on the other side? Oh, rainbows have visions, but only illusions. And rainbows have nothing to hide. Well, so we've been told, and some choose to believe it. I know they're wrong, wait and see. Well, someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. Who said that every wish would be heard and answered, and wished on the morning star? Well, somebody thought of it, and someone believed it. Look what it's done so far. What's so amazing that keeps us stargazing? What do you think we might see? Everybody. Well, someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me. Have you been half asleep? Have you heard voices? Heard them all calling my name. Are these the sweet sounds that call the young sailors? I think that they're one and the same. I've heard it too many times to ignore it. It's something that I'm supposed to be. Here we go. Well, someday we'll find it, the rainbow connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and you finish the last line, me. Thank you, Mom.
Thank you, Will. It's always a great song. So my talk today is Holy Joy. And this is a story worth repeating if you've heard me tell it before. My mother had a great sense of humor. She taught me humor is essential and can even bring one back to sanity. She always seemed to have crazy things happen to her. And one year when I was a child, we rented a beach house for several weeks in Laguna Beach, California. And my mother got up early to take the garbage out one morning. As she was getting it together, she heard the garbage truck coming. So she ran outside. She had on ragged old pajamas and a strange looking curler cap on her head, a bag of garbage in each arm. And as she was running, the string on her pajamas broke. So she was kind of hobbling, trying to hold them up, with running with a limp, garbage bags in her arms, old pajamas, curler cap. She yells out to the sanitation worker, "Hey, am I too late for the garbage?" And he takes one look at her and says, "No, hop on, lady." So we never let her hear the end of that. When my son Chris was a baby, we had a special christening ceremony for him, and we passed him around the circle. And each person present blessed him with a unique wish for something wonderful in his life. And his grandma, my mother, chose a sense of humor. And to this day, he still attributes his wonderful sense of humor to his grandma's blessing. Humor is an expression of joy. And joy is one of our 12 spiritual powers, often called zeal as well. In Unity, we teach these innate spiritual faculties are our birthright, and we have to develop them and call them forth, not only for ourselves, but for the greater collective. We are here to transform humankind and change the world. It was the purpose of Jesus and the spiritual masters before him, and of Unity for the past 131 years. So zeal is one of our 12 spiritual powers, but we can think of it also as joy. Joy is also akin to bliss or delight. And activating joy helps us to transform ourselves and others, and therefore to change the world. There is an expression that I love. Israeli theologian Martin Buber said, "The beating heart of the universe is holy joy." Just take that in for a minute. Think about it, feel it. The beating heart of the universe is holy joy. Isn't that a wonderful image? Whether we call it joy or bliss or delight, we're talking about the beating heart of the universe, the essence of all life. That same life force lives in us all. The burst of energy that opens flower petals is the same energy that creates the stars. It's the same energy that comes out of the blue to inspire, excite, and delight us with joy. Speaking of that life force, I was thinking about a time when my son Justin and my daughter-in-law Bethany called me from Minot, North Dakota, to say that my then 6-year-old grandson, Dylan, had some questions for me. He's 13 now. But I was surprised since he's generally very shy on the phone, and actually still is. Well, Bethany said he had come to her and said, "Mom, am I the best person you know?" And she said, "Yes, Dylan, you and your brother Ethan are the best people I know." And he said, "The best people I know are God, Jesus, and Martin Luther King Jr." So Bethany said to me, "I'm going to put you on speakerphone because Dylan wants to know who God and Jesus are." And she said, "I can't answer these kinds of questions, so I'm calling you." And I said, "Well, thanks a lot." So I said to Dylan, "Well, I believe God is the love that is present throughout the universe and in our hearts. And when you look at people or your pets, or beautiful lake, and you feel love or joy, that's tuning into God. It's kind of like in Star Wars, feeling the force." And then Jesus was an amazing man who lived several thousand years ago. He was so tuned into that life force of God and everything, he could even heal people and do amazing things. But we can all tune into God just like he did. And then I said, "Does that make sense?" And he said, "Well, sorta." And then he told me, Martin Luther King Jr. was a Black man who changed the rules for all Black people everywhere through time. And I thought, wow, not bad for a 6-year-old. I should be asking him the questions. But I remember it was such a joyful conversation for me. All the world's great spiritual traditions tell us to live in joy, in harmony with infinite delight. The world's 5 major religions, Hinduism, Buddhism, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, are all universal in teaching the importance of infinite delight and the power of joy. Hindu philosophers have for thousands of years taught the concept of Satchidananda, which translates to bliss. Bliss or delight is inseparable from existence. Hinduism also says the inner satisfaction that comes from everyday delights, such as smelling a flower or eating a chocolate mousse is a blissful impulse from the highest delight. I think it's very important to know that in our quest for enlightenment, we are encouraged to eat chocolate. It's not a sin of any kind, it's a spiritual practice. Has anyone ever had some blissful moments from eating chocolate? I ate some of it, chocolate cake that Mary baked recently with chocolate mousse in it. It was pure ecstasy, pure ecstasy. It's even scriptural. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was chocolate. Well, Buddhism teaches energy is eternal delight, and every form of being lies somewhere in the vast spectrum of ecstasy called the body of total bliss. Buddhism says the way out of suffering is into this state of complete joy. Alan Watts, the great teacher of Zen Buddhism, made the connection clear. He said, existence is basically exuberance. Imagine living each day with more exuberance. Exuberance. Charles Fillmore, co-founder of Unity, called it zeal or joy. He used to speak his famous affirmation, I fairly sizzle with zeal and enthusiasm and spring forth with a mighty faith to do the work that ought to be done by me. The teachings of Judaism are found in the Old Testament, and they often refer to the idea of delight and joy. The 37th Psalm tells us, delight yourself in the Lord, and he will give you the desires of your heart. In Christianity, the story of Jesus begins with joy and delight. Luke tells us that the first word the angel Gabriel said to Mary, the woman chosen to be the mother of Jesus, was rejoice. And when the wise men saw the star heralding his birth, it's told the sight of the star filled them with delight. Joy was the original promise of the Christian era. And finally, much delight or joy can be found in the Muslim tradition. Muhammad received the words of the Quran out of the blue from the archangel Gabriel, who visited him time and time again. The most well-known of the Sufi mystics within the Muslim tradition was Rumi, who was inflamed with joy and delight at the appearance of a great Sufi teacher, Shams. And after this inspiring meeting, Rumi's work became exalted. Rumi also founded the Whirling Dervishes, and the Dervishes' dance of delight is intended to transport the dancer to a higher awareness of God. One Sufi master said, the only relevant question is, why aren't you dancing with joy at this very moment? I love that. Why aren't you dancing with joy at this very moment? Even those who can't walk can dance in some way. I remember when my 8-year-old granddaughter was 10 months old, she could not yet walk, and she would dance sitting in her high chair. Her sister would be dancing nearby, so Linnea would just sit and rock out with her whole body before she could walk. To further activate our joy, we can ask ourselves several questions. What has brought me the most joy? Reflect on the joy in your life and then dwell on that instead of any troubles. I would answer that question by saying I felt incredible joy when I had my 2 sons, when I gave birth to them. I felt joy when I've given birth to my created gifts. And the joy is not exclusive to parents. It comes in so many ways. When I gave birth to Justin, my second son, my eldest son, Chris, was a few months away from turning 7. So he had a big adjustment. He was ecstatic at first. Then about 2 weeks later, he came to me and he said, Mom, I want to send that baby back where he came from. Well, he got over it, fortunately. But I'd also have to say the connection I feel with God, the blessing in all things is my ongoing joy, along with the amazing spiritual journey. And let me hear a few from you. Unmute yourself. Tell me what has brought you the most joy. Wave your hand. No.
When I tell a story that I've created, I just feel really delightful. I feel this exalted feeling.
Great. That's wonderful. Who else can express? Candy.
This might sound weird, but I really get a lot of joy out of helping other people in some form, whether it's through a reading or physically helping them. That gives me a lot of joy.
It's not weird at all. It's okay. Anybody else? Gary.
I have gotten so much joy in my life from music. And in fact, for many years, a website I had to log into daily for work had a password, and my password was joy one is music. It was a daily affirmation.
All right. That's great. Yeah, many don't know. Gary used to be a concert pianist. Wonderful too. I can't see all of you, so if there's anyone else, just speak it out. Okay. Yes.
I get joy spending time with my kids and also my friends' kids. I've really learned that I love being Auntie Brandy with all the little ones. I just had a couple of kids over yesterday. The little girl put on my Wonder Woman gear and gave me the Wonder Woman pose. So yeah, my kids and other people's kids. Auntie role is definitely fun. So
All right.
joyful.
I love being around kids too. Okay. Well, the second question is, am I experiencing joy and delight each day? And if not, why? The list can sometimes be long as to reasons we may not be joyful, maybe emotional or physical pain, maybe illness, anger, worry, anxiety, stress, fear, depression, and more. These last few years have certainly tested our joy in many ways. But joy is not to be confused with happiness. The root of happiness is hap, meaning chance, as in happenstance or haphazard. Happiness depends on things going our way, whereas joy is based on the knowledge of the presence of God with us at all times from the very beginning. Happiness requires positive conditions: good health, right relationships, a good job, shelter, food, clothing. Joy, on the other hand, can be found even when these other conditions do not exist. Joy is something we can celebrate even when things are not going our way, even in the midst of grief and sadness. The only condition for joy is the presence of God. Joy happens when God is present and people know it, which means it can erupt in a depressed economy, in the middle of a war, amidst a pandemic, in an intensive care waiting room. Holy joy. We tune into a cosmic experience of joy, the beating heart of the universe, the pulse of God. As Frederick Buechner writes, God created us in joy and for joy, and in the long run, not all the darkness there is in the world and in ourselves can separate us finally from that joy. Besides, laugh, and you will burn up 3.5 calories. It's no joke. If you don't care about joy and fun, at least know that the laughter that arises from joy helps weight control. Well, some believe churches should be serious, no laughing environments. I disagree, don't you? Well, the humorous story is told of a preacher who was talking about temperance. With great emphasis, he said, if I had all the beer in the world, I'd take it and I'd pour it in the river. And with even greater emphasis, he said, if I had all the wine in the world, I'd take it and I'd pour it in the river. And then finally, shaking his fist in the air, he said, if I had all the whiskey in the world, I'd take it and I'd pour it in the river. Sermon complete, he then sat down. The song leader stood very cautiously and announced with a smile, for our closing song, let us sing hymn number 365, shall we gather at the river? Well, I love that unity is an environment where laughter and joy prevail. And that does not mean ignoring problems or the shadow side of things, but it does mean focusing more on what we want and less on what we don't want. And I believe we all want joy. Rabbi Nachman, the Hasidic teacher, said, joy is not incidental to your spiritual quest, it is vital, so cultivate it. And we don't just wait for joy to happen to us. It's important we make a commitment to it and play without a why, without a reason, just because it's fun. There are many ways to activate joy, but we can begin with the simple intention to smile more often. All people smile in the same language. A simple smile can even save lives. There's a story I've always remembered about that, told by Hannah McCarty. Many of us are familiar with The Little Prince, a wonderful book by Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. Saint-Exupéry was a fighter pilot who fought against the Nazis and was killed in action. And before World War II, he fought in the Spanish Civil War against the fascists. And he wrote a fascinating story based on that experience entitled The Smile. He said he was captured by the enemy and thrown into a jail cell. And he was sure that from the contemptuous looks and rough treatment he received from his jailers, he would be executed the next day. He said, I was sure I was to be killed. I became terribly nervous and distraught. I fumbled in my pockets to see if there were any cigarettes which had escaped their search. I found one, and because of my shaking hands, I could barely get it to my lips. But I had no matches. They had taken those. And I looked through the bars at my jailer. He did not make eye contact with me. After all, one does not make eye contact with a thing, a corpse. I called out to him, have you got a light, por favor? He looked at me, shrugged, and he came over to light my cigarette. As he came close and lit the match, his eyes inadvertently locked with mine. At that moment, I smiled. I don't know why I did that. Perhaps it was nervousness. Perhaps it was because when you get very close one to another, it's very hard not to smile. In any case, I smiled. In that instant, it was as though a spark jumped across the gap between our two hearts, our two human souls. I know he didn't want to, but my smile leaped through the bars and generated a smile on his lips too. He lit my cigarette, but stayed near, looking at me directly in the eyes and continuing to smile. I kept smiling at him, now aware of him as a person and not just a jailer. And his looking at me seemed to have a new dimension too. Do you have kids? He asked. Yes, here. I took out my wallet and I nervously fumbled for the pictures of my family. He too took out the pictures of his niños and began to talk about his plans and hopes for them. My eyes filled with tears. I said I feared I'd never see my family again. I'd never have the chance to see them grow up. And tears came to his eyes too. And suddenly, without another word, he unlocked my cell and silently led me out of the jail, quietly and by back routes, out of the town. There at the edge of town, he released me. And without another word, he turned back toward the town. My life was saved by a smile. Part of our commitment to joy can simply be smiling more often as well as laughing more. The great secret of awakening delight and joy is this: there is not any secret. We do not have to go any place, do anything, buy anything, or improve anything about ourselves to reach delight. The awakening of joy in our life is simply a choice and a commitment to be in delight each day, beginning right now. Smile, dance, play, listen to music, go to parking lot concerts, walk in the woods, eat chocolate, do what you love. Listen to the heartbeat. The beating heart of the universe is holy joy. And God bless you all with that holy joy. Thank you. Thank you.
So here's a song inspired by the Children of Unity. Unity North Spiritual Center, of course. Ruby red slippers, hair filled with glitter, tiny round sequins on the sides of her jeans. A bright morning sunbeam shines through our window. Our sweet angels dancing a waltz with the sun. 6 birthday candles prepared for a wish. Pink frosting is no one's surprise. Every day is a gift when I see myself smile. The mirror of my little girl's eyes. She shines, she sparkles with light. Our love is the reason I know I'm alive. She shines without even trying. She is the light in my life. Well, all of her friends gather around her. Her diamond tiara is a beautiful sight. Our sweet angel singing her own happy birthday, a moment of perfect joy and delight. It feels like I blinked and now it's her bedtime. The glitter is washed from her hair. Our good night hug ends when I finally let go. But she knows I'll always be there. She shines, she sparkles with light. Our love is the reason I know I'm alive. She shines without even trying. She is the light in my life. Well, trouble and heartache will get in her way, but her fire will never blow out. Why should I worry? She'll be alright. She has her own inner light. She shines, she sparkles with light. Our love is the reason I know I'm alive. She shines without even trying. She is the light in my life. She is the light in my life. She is the light in all lives. And ruby red slippers, hair filled with glitter. Thank you. Crying is allowed.
Thank you so much, Will. You're really fun. I love your music. I love your songs. It's great to have you here today. And thank you for the talk, Reverend Kathy. When I saw that you were going to talk about joy, I knew the word chocolate was going to come up a couple times. It's a big, the real vitamin C in life is what chocolate is. So this is the time in our service where we bless our offerings. We invite you to go to our website and you can make a donation there, or you can hold your phone's camera up to the QR code on the screen. And that will open up to the place to give an offering there, or you can mail a check. Our address is on the website as well. So I invite you to say the love offering blessing aloud with me together. Divine love flowing through me now blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And I am grateful.
Everybody, I am grateful to be giving from within. There's abundance in my life now. Now my blessing has been sent. Sing it one more time from your heart. I am grateful to be giving. Harmony's good. To be giving from within. There's abundance in my life now. Now my blessing has been sent.
That was another great song. Now it's time for our community news. Our Sunday services are on Zoom at 10:30, and all of the times we refer to are Central Time, Central Daylight Time right now. And more information can always be found on the website, which is unitynorthmn.org. So we have assistance for you individually after the service if you would like. We have a prayer chaplain if you would like personal prayer. And Gretchen Hansen is our prayer chaplain today, and her phone number is 612-483-2379. And our long distance healer today, if you need some healing, is Rhonda Italiano. And her phone number is 763-442-1780. So today is the Unity North Parking Lot Concert event. So this is the very first event in person at the church since the pandemic closed it down. And how nice that Mother Nature came by last night and hosed down the parking lots. It's nice and dust-free and clean for the concert today. And so Will be our musician there today, and then we'll have some wonderful storytelling with Noel Levine. And that comedy surprise we've been hearing about for a while will be there, and a 50-50 raffle as well. So it'll be lots of friends. And just to note there's going to be limited parking on the south side of the building, but there's plenty of parking over on the Wells Fargo side of the building. And we remind people to please wear your mask at this event. Looking forward to that. And we're reopening for live services at the church in just a few weeks here on September 12th. So it'll be two services, 8:45 a.m. will be the early service as it has in the past. And then at 10:30 will be what we call a hybrid service. It'll be in person, but it will also be broadcast on Zoom. So safety protocols and requirements that will be emailed and posted in advance. And then we have Good For You Days, the raffle tickets. Last day to purchase raffle tickets on the website is this coming Thursday, September 2nd. And the drawing will be held the next day, next Friday at 7 o'clock in the evening. You can enter for a chance of winning 3 free sessions or classes. And there's a special raffle drawing this year. One winner will receive a painted portrait of your dog or your cat from a photo from Anne Mongeau. Then we have World Day of Prayer is Wednesday, September 8th. And at 7 o'clock, you can join us for an hour that includes peace prayers from different religious traditions. And then there's music and meditation as well. And Family Promise Hosting Week, excuse me, is September 12th to the 18th. And if you're interested in volunteering, please contact Kathleen by phone, and her phone number is 763-442-1825. And Chris has put that name and number in the chat box as well. Thank you, Chris, for filling in the chat as we go here. And that is the end of our community announcements. And now I'll turn it back over to Reverend Kathy for our prayer for protection.
Thank you, Gary. First of all, I just want to say thank you so much to Chris, who's doing the service from Wisconsin today, Chris and Rhonda. And thank you to Gary from Santa Cruz. We've got a very nice mix today. And a special thank you to Will, our musician today. Let's give him all a warm hand. Thank you so much. And now let's join together in speaking our prayer for protection. Together, the light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And now let's join together in our peace song.
Feel free to sway. Imagine our hands connected, hearts connected. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be. With God is our creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be a moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. Everybody, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with, finish it again, with me. Yay, peace, y'all.
Thank you,
Beautiful.
Will.
Thank you. Beautiful message, Kathy. I loved it.
That was a happy little baby there. What a great job for today. And so we invite people to stay for a while and have some social time if you'd like.